As you can see, it looks a little different now. I meant to make a video before I started seam sealing, but well, I forgot. So, anyways, the bottom's epoxy. I bought some of these. I'm gonna try out. These Y Pal, I guess, X80s. So blue shop towels leave a little bit of lint after you've been wiping for a little while with wax grease remover, especially if you're hitting some rough surfaces that's tearing it up some. So, and blowing it off with the air gun doesn't get it all off. So I'm hoping those are supposed to be real coarse, rough-ish. So I'm hoping I can wipe down with those with wax grease remover whenever I paint, and I won't have to worry about going back over with another cloth, or normally if I was painting a surface I cared a whole lot about, or that was visible, obviously I'd use a tack cloth, but hopefully that'll help remedy some of the other problems. So I don't really know exactly what all's factory seam sealed or what's necessarily supposed to be seam sealed, so I go overkill, as with everything. So, and I'm really hoping some of this stuff I'm seam sealing is not meant to be left open for water to be able to come out of. I'm not closing any big gaps. Obviously, I know like the gap between that doesn't get closed off. Obviously, this big ass hole doesn't get closed off. Shit like that doesn't get blocked, obviously. But anywhere where overlapping metal is, from here, all this floor sections, this, and I know I'm not doing a nice, clean, taped off job. It's the underside of the car, I could care less. It's already all epoxied, seam sealed. It's gonna get another coat of epoxy. I don't really care about it, how it really looks that much, as long as it stays sealed and, protected from elements. I'm still contemplating whether or not I'm gonna do some kind of lizard skin on the bottom of this thing too. I know the wheel wells will get some kind of textured coating. So, speaking of which, the insides of these lips, like the backside, holy shit, is it a pain in the ass to try to get coating on. I had to take the epoxy. I could never get the epoxy gun to hit inside of there at all. I tried to kind of feather it around and hopefully the mist would kind of stick to it. Nope, nothing. So this was all pretty much still, cleaned off bare metal or whatever, or unprotected. So after I epoxied everything, I came back with rust encapsulator, and I'd have to hit over, I pushed it into these seams because some of these seams didn't get a whole lot of epoxy penetration, like this gap here where the wheel well meets, and inside of this section, stuff like that. So I'd spray it upright, and then I'd hold it upside down and coat the back side of that lip until it stopped blowing paint, apparently, obviously, and then I'd do it upright again on something to get some paint back to the gun. Anyways, so that's how I was covering that lip. These little spray wands, these little doohickeys that you use for internal frame coatings and stuff, those work all right. I thought about using that, but the only thing I want to decide with that is it coats. You can't lay a smooth coat down. It's going to have crazy runs everywhere. I didn't want a ton of that, so I just, like I said, I upside downed it. I am going to end up using those wands for all inside of these frame rails, inside of this again, probably inside of these, just to make sure they're coated well. I think I coated the undersides of these with epoxy or with weld through on the areas where there weren't welds by it, but I'm just gonna hose the shit out of it anyways, just to be sure. Same thing inside of this, inside of these, anywhere I can fit that wand. Torque boxes, I'm gonna coat the shit out of it. I don't want it coming out, so the car is gonna get several coats of epoxy added on to it, I'm sure, at some point in time, so I'm not really worried about it running out of these holes. I'll come back and clean off anything it runs out of and looks like shit. So came back and coated these, but obviously you can see the epoxy didn't coat that real well. Coated these, apparently I just didn't get that one that great. So I'll have to come back when I spray the underbody. The whole underbody's gonna get coated again, but I'll have to get that a couple of coats on. You can see, like here, you can see how it's kind of catching the light and not reflecting that well. That's thin here a little bit, and then around this area, pretty much all in the tunnel, it got thin coated. And I think it's just the way I was coating. I was trying to stay off of this round edge when I coated, so I didn't get the gun down in there because I didn't want it to run But I'll just end up coating back over those. But I seam sealed, you know, literally everything. The seat belt, anchors, all around here. I gotta get the top still, and I gotta get this rocker up top. I know a bunch of this stuff's not done. We just came out here, did a little bit, just to put in some time. But roommate came out and helped me. I worked on the front part, he worked on the back half, and we just, you know, threw some coating on. I'll come back out here maybe tomorrow and do a little bit more. And maybe this weekend, if it's not ice cold or raining again, I'll coat some more. I think I said in the other video, the bar that goes here, I'll probably end up having to cut and redo. It's over there. I still have to epoxy it black, but I'm most likely gonna have to chop that and re-weld it yet again, because I don't foresee putting it back in easily. And I'd rather not destroy every bit of coating I put on these frame rails by having to hammer it back into place anyways. So to prevent that, I'll just, you know, do some more welding again. So I still have to seam seal the very front of the car areas. I mean, there's tons of seam sealing still to do. This stuff's gonna take forever. But anyways, so my other project that's been keeping me away from this, I'll be making a video of soon. Y'all obviously saw it in a previous video, the sport bike I bought. It's an Aprilia RSV 1000R. It is coming together pretty nicely, and I have the title now, and I'm hopefully going to get title transferred and tag this Friday, so 2 days. And I'll have a working motorcycle that I can, you know, in my name that I could sell. So I'll be able to fund the suspension for this thing and brakes on the front, hopefully, by selling it. But that's all for now. It's starting to get cold out here. I'm going in. Thanks for watching, guys. And if anybody has any tips on what I'm doing wrong here or how I should be doing this better, feel free to comment. I like learning. I like information. I like people that know what they're doing, people that know this trait to teach. So I'm open to learn. I already expect some criticism for things I screw up on this car and things that would be considered half-assed or whatever. Because like I said, obviously the seam seal job is not pretty. I wasn't trying to make it pretty on this part. Anything visible, I'll try to keep it clean, but not really worried about the underside. And like I said in the other video, I'm really not happy with this junk, but I really don't know what to do with it, because I can't, there's no way I can cut out that. This overhang I could cut out some, but I don't know, there wasn't a real way to clean that up nicely. So down the road, I'm sure I'll probably end up having problems with this spot. And maybe by then, I will have done something with this trunk area, and I will probably have, at that point, I'll be tired of this fuel system, my guess, and I'll end up just flattening that out and doing some kind of custom fuel cell and just do my own custom trunk floor. But at that point, I can clean it up. Anyways, everybody that's subbed or watching or interested in the channel, if you want to see what the other project's been going, I'll, like I said, I'll be posting a video of it soon. So keep your eyes peeled for that to drop, and I'll do another video whenever it's epoxy time number 2 or after I get done seam sealing maybe. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Later.